section of this course, which is the third game, Simple RPG game, Day After Dead. So in this section we are going to learn some new things like understanding the concept of the game. Of course, understanding the concept of the game is going to be since this game is an RPG game, we are going to understand some few fundamentals of the RPG type of game. The next thing which we are going to learn is the create an enemy AI, and AI we are going to use for that is the navigational tool. So navigational mesh, we are going to take a hands on the navigational mesh, nav mesh agents, and all of these components. So the next thing which we are going to do is we are going to create some controller scripts like prayer controller script, and then we are also going to create another script for the enemy as well, but I have not listed it in this content. But yeah, we are going to do that, and there are several things which we are going to do, but since those things are not new, I have not included in the content of this course. But yeah, this are being included in the videos, so don't need to worry about it. The next thing which we are going to do again is we are going to develop a simple UI. And the second new thing which we are going to learn here is the post processing, guys. So post processing helps you to generate some cool graphics of the game, create some cool graphics in the game, which helps the game view look different, guys. So this could make a very cool looking game. And the last thing which we are going to do is we are going to build a version of the game in PC, guys. So at last, once you have gone through all of this videos of this section, you are going to create a game which looks something like this. So this is where our game is, this is how our game is going to look. This is going to be your start menu, or you can say the main menu, and this is going to be the game, the actual game. This two images shows you the actual game. Here, as you can see, an enemy is coming towards the player. Enemy is not being observed clearly, is not being seen clearly, but yeah, there is an enemy right there, but you are going to see it. Since we are going to create a game, you would be able to see that as well. So this is what we are going to do in this section, and so good luck. Today in this lecture, I am going to tell you where we need to collect the asset for our third game, which is the simple RPG game, Day of the Dead, guys. So just open your browser, and inside of that, just open an Unity asset store, and you are going to find out that RPG Footman PBR HP Poly Yacht would be our one of the asset, and this asset is going to be this character is going to be our main character. And then the next one would be, yeah, this one, which is a fancy monster skeleton, guys. So these two would be our main characters, and this would be the enemy, and this would be our yeah, hero, or you can say the player of our game. So the next thing which we need to find is we need environment, guys. So what you have to do is just type in the keyword environment and search for the most suitable, most appropriate environment for our game, guys. So I think the most appropriate environment would be a crypt, guys. So let's search for any crypt. Yeah, first of all, let's make it the free asset, and then let's search for the dungeons. Yeah, we got one. So this would be the best one which we can get out of all these assets. This would be the best one, the most suited. So as you can see, this is looking more like a crypt where the deads would be on the rise and going to attack our player character, which is this swordsman, guys. So just add it to your asset. Okay, so with that, guys, we have decided, we have collected all of our assets which we are going to need in this game. So what you have to do right now is just click create a new project in the Unity. So open that Unity Hub application. Okay, it might take some time to load. Okay, here we go. Unity Hub has been loaded. So now what you have to do is create a new project, and this time we are going to work with this universal project template. So just click on that universal project template and rename the project as Day of the Dead. So I want to change my path of the project, so I don't want it to go inside of this multiplayer folder, but rather I want to go it here in the, I guess, graphic intense game. Don't worry, these are just my way of sorting things up. So now just hit the create button and we are ready to go. So with that, Unity is going to just start to build up the project for us so that we can work over there. So I would just skip this part. So as you can see, guys, our project has been built. So now as you can see, we have got a sample scene where we have got some example assets, and if you are going to take a close look over the game view, you are going to observe that the graphics are cool, guys. So this lightweight render pipeline, or you can say the universal render pipeline, is basically the thing where the post processing happens, guys. So this render pipeline is actually built for the low processing system, or the system which has got a low graphical processing unit. For example, mobile. Let's take an example of mobile. Mobile cannot have a very graphic intense game, so this type of render pipelines are actually used for mobiles. If you want to achieve the graphic level, or you can say the if you want to achieve the graphics which looks more cooler than the regular one. So with that said, guys, in the next lecture we are going to just understand the basic concept of our game, so stay tuned. Of our game, so what is going to be the basic concept of our game? So let me create a simple scene which is empty. Okay, so here we click the scene and name it as testing, guys. Okay, yeah, cool. So double click on the scene so that you can go over inside of that scene and then just create a simple plane. Okay, transform it to the center. Okay, go to the lighting and just auto generate it. Okay, cool, guys. So just double click on the plane to focus, or to get it focused. So now as you can see, what we are going to do is, yeah, let's create one more pawn, which should be this. Yeah, just reset the position of it, and on the y-axis just make it, I guess, 4 3. Okay, cool. So increase the size of this file. Yeah, actually there is no need for you to just create all this, because this is just for the understanding purpose. I want to just explain you the basic concept of our game. So just I would just name this cube as our player, and yeah, I would again create another. Okay, instead of cube, let's create a cylinder. Okay, yeah, I would just bring it to the center and we are ready to go. So now what we are going to do is go inside of the material and create the material, name it as enemy, and make it red for the enemy, and material which is going to be for the player is blue, guys. So yep, okay, this would be great. Just drag it, and we are going to create another material, name it as GROUND, which is ground, and yeah, make it white, no problem. Okay, cool. So let me show you the power of the post processing, guys. So yeah, with that said, the red one is going to be the enemy, of course, and the blue one is going to be our player, or you can say the main character of this game. So if you want to take a look over the game scene, as you can see, this all is going to work great. And but I want to show you one more thing, which is the post processing into the play. I would like to show you the post processing, how post processing works, so stay tuned. So guys, to get started with the post processing, the single thing which you need to do is just go over to the hierarchy and go inside of the volume and click any one of those volumes. So I would like to have a global volume, so that our post processing would have an effect all over the scene. And if you select this box volume, it is going to only have the effect within that box. So, or you can say sphere or convex mesh volume. So I want to have it globally, so just click on that and you are going to create another yeah, you are going to create the Unity is going to create a global volume for you. So as you can see, we have got a volume script right there, and we have got several modes in it, several variables in it. So the mode has got a global and a local. So let's select over the global, and the weight determines what should be the weight of the effects of the post processing, and the priority determines, suppose we are having 3 to 4 post processing effects, or you can say the volumes inside of the same scene, then you are going to set off the priorities for those. And the profile is the actual thing where all of our effects takes place. So I'm going to select my sample scene profile, which was for the sample scene. And then what you have to do is to take, as you can see, the scene has got an effect in it. And so let's check it out by just enabling it. and disabling it, the global volume. So as you can see, you would just see the changes which are coming into the picture. So this are so if you just go take a look over the game scene, you are not going to observe similar changes. So if you want the changes to be happen inside of the game view as well, what you have to do is just click over the camera, and inside of the rendering tab, what you have to do is just check in that post processing effect. So as you can see, once I checked in the post processing effect, you can view those similar effects which are being seen inside of the scene. And yeah, it's working fine. Now if I just again uncheck it, as you can see, the effect goes off. So to make the effect work perfectly fine, what you have to do is just check in, guys. So now as you can see, our post processing is working fine. Now let's make some changes and make it a bit smoother. And of course, yeah, into the post processing you can add several overrides, guys. So there are several effects on the post processing. What you have to do is, if you want to just understand all these effects, you can just play with these values and just get started, guys. So yeah, the more you practice, the more you try out the new things inside of the Unity or any of the game engine, the more you are going to learn, guys. So it is on the basis of trial and error. It works on the trial and error. So you just have to try out new things, guys, so that you can learn new things, guys. So yeah, that's it. So now the concept, let's take a look over the concept of our game. So what we are going to do is we are going to spawn this red enemies all over the map, and what we are going to do is this, once they are spawned, and they are going to get a radius around them, a radius around which if a player enters that radius, now suppose the player enters this radius, then the enemy is going to follow and is going to kill our player, guys. So yeah, this is it, and the enemy is going to kill our player. But there is one more sudden change, guys, in the game concept. So if the player is hit by the enemy, or you can say if the player's health reaches zero, from 100 it reaches zero, what it is going to do is the game is going to get you 25, you can say 5 to 10 seconds for you to heal. And how are we going to heal is you need to find an antidote, guys. That antidote is going to be spawned once the player's health is to zero. Once the player's health reaches zero, the antidote is going to spawn anywhere in this place, or you can say not the antidote, it is more like a sci-fi word, and which is a more word which it is a kind of a word which feels like modern, guys. So this the game which we are currently creating is a kind of yeah, that old medieval age game. So what you have to do is we can think of it as a life. Yes guys, it would be the life, it could be the spell where the player heals himself completely, guys. So if the player reaches over that spell, the spell where the spell has been cast, so then the player can heal itself himself to the full extent, to the full health, that is from 0 to 100, and that's it, guys. Now this character would just won't stop, this enemy won't stop, they would just spawn again and again and would try to kill the player. So this is all about our game, so let's get started. So in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to create a basic player controller script for our player character. So just import all of those three assets which I showed you in the earlier lecture, and get ready, guys. Basic player controller script. So let's get started. So after I just imported all of the assets, so this is our player character and this would be our enemy, guys. So just take the enemy back and let's focus over our player, so which is this Footman Blue HP. So just rename it to Swordsman. Okay, yeah, Swordsman. Or to make it simple, let's name it as player, no problem. So now what you have to do is just click on that player and add a character controller, guys. So what basically this character controller does is it has got all of the functionalities which are required for any character to be any character requires, which is jumping, or you can say moving forward, backward, rotating, and that all, guys. So what you have to do is just type in character controller, and as you can see I just found the character controller and just add it inside of it. The next thing which we need to do is just go to the asset folder, and inside of the script folder just create another script and name it as player controller, guys. So yeah, now just double click it to open it up, and once the player controller is ready, we are ready to go, guys. Okay guys, so now the editor is ready to use. So what you have to do is, first of all we need to create a script, or you can say we need to access that player controller, character controller. So to do that, what you have to do is just type in the variable name as character controller and name our variable to cc, and inside of the start function what you have to do is, okay, after typing cc what you have to do is just set an equal to sign, and inside of that, after that what you have to do is just type in game object. Yeah, this is, and this get type in game component, get component, sorry, and inside of that angle bracket what we do is just type in that character controller, and yeah, okay, and then just create the parenthesis, open and close the one brackets, and then we are ready to use the cc, guys. So now we have no need to use this serialized field, because what this get component is going to do is, the once the game begins it is going to run the inside of the start function. What it is going to do is, the script is going to get that components reference, guys. So with that we don't require any of it. So now let's get started with the coding part for our player movement, guys. So just typing, just create a float variable within that, or you can say inside of the update function, and just type in let the float be of name x, and just type in input dot get access horizontal. So what it is going to do basically is, it is going to get the access to the all of the horizontal key which has been assigned to the project settings, guys. Yeah, one thing which I forgot to tell you guys is, once you import any asset inside of this which is the universal render pipeline package, or you can say the game, what you have to do is just go to the edit, and inside of the render pipeline you have to click on the universal render pipeline and upgrade project materials to universal render pipeline materials, guys. So what basically this would do is, suppose you have imported a thing, then it is going to be using the standard shader, guys. So the standard shaders are not supported in this universal render pipeline, because we have changed our render pipeline. If you want to take a look over that, what you have to do is just go to the project setting and click on the graphics panel, graphics button, and you are going to observe that setting. So since you can see, scriptable render pipeline setting is going to be this, and if you are using a normal 3D game, or if you are creating a normal 3D game, you are not going to observe any kind of this. Yeah, this would be actually none, or you can say it won't have any package here. So to do that, you have to just convert all of your materials to the universal render pipeline, or else it would just give you a pink, yeah, glowing pink color, which is just irritating, guys. So right now we created our input, we were getting an input of the horizontal key. So as you can see, inside of the horizontal key we have got left, right, and A and D. So with the E and D you are going to move left and right, and with the left and right buttons also you are going to move with left and right, and similarly we are also going to use the vertical key. Vertical, we are going to access this vertical buttons. So as you can see, down, up, SW. So with that said, guys, just open up the script. Yeah, day of the dead player controller. Okay, great. So yeah, create another float, name it as y, and get access to it as vertical. Okay, so with that said, guys, what you have to do is just go down and, okay, create a vector 3 and name it as movement vector, and let's assign it a value, transform.x. okay, it's not x dot right, it's going to be multiply x plus transform.position. Okay, not transform dot position, sorry, transform dot forward, multiply it by y. So now what we are basically going to do is, we have created a vector 3 which is going to have 3 values, x, y, and z. So what we are going to do is, we are taking the player transform right, which is the x-axis, and we are multiplying that float it with the float variable x, and we are again referencing the transform.forward, which is our z-axis, and we are going to take that reference and going to multiply it with our y-axis, this y float variable, guys. So with that, what you have to do is just type in cc dot move, and basically cc is our character controller reference variable, and dot move is the inbuilt function which is inside of the character controller. What we are going to do is just typing movement vector multiply it with time dot delta time, and multiply that with movement vector. So this is basically going to allow us to use the movement, guys. So okay, it's not movement vector, of course. Again, we are just multiplying. We need to multiply it with the movement speed, and this variable has not been yet created. What you have to do is just type in, yeah. Okay, so sorry to interrupt, but yeah, what we were doing was just typing, yeah, we were creating the variable name as movement speed. So just make it of type float, and yeah, of course you need to take in that serialized field into an account. You need to write that serialized field so that we would be able to change the speed of the movement while we are in the editor, guys. So there won't be any need to come back to this. Okay, yeah, there won't be any need to come back to the script and just edit it. So I'm just sorting things up, and we are ready to go, guys. So now with that said, what you have to do is just save the script and go back to the editor, and let's see if the things work fine. So what you have to do is just click on that player and add a component, name it, and we named as player controller. We need to add a script. So now just type in 6, and what you have to do is just take a look over the camera, and let me focus our camera over the player. So just control shift F and hit the play button, and if you see, take a look, we are able to control our player, guys. So yes, of course we are able to control our player, but why is he flying over the, yeah, why he is in the space, guys? So what you have to do for that is just click, just get back to the player, and just press on this gizmos key. If you press on this gizmos key and select our player, you are going to observe that our player controller has not been fitted properly to our player. So what you have to do is, over the y-axis we need to get it to appropriate height so that it won't fly again in the sky, and yeah, let's make it 1 so it won't be flying in the air. And yeah, while we played the button, the player was actually playing some animation. So what you have to do is just, yeah, click on this animator, or just turn off this animator for the, yeah, for the training purpose, so that we could test our player perfectly. So just hit the play button again, and you are not going to see the player is swinging his sword or running. And as you can see, our game is looking great. Our player controller script is working fine. Now one thing which we need to do is we need to create a rotation script so that our player rotates wherever we just go, guys. So to do that, what you have to do is, but at first let's set up our camera, guys. So to set up our camera, what you have to do is you need to download an extra package which is named as Cinemachine, guys. It is a very good tool created by the Unity technology. It is basically the tool used for, yeah, camera, guys. It is, what it does is, those tools handle your camera in such a way that it makes your game looks more fantastic, guys. So with that, what you have to do is go inside of the package manager, and of course go and search for the Cinemachine, guys. Okay, yeah, Cinemachine. I'm searching for the Cinemachine. Okay, they didn't find any Cinemachine, but what you have to do is go inside and click on this all packages. Then let it take some time to load, and now if you find it over here, you are going to get the Cinemachine. It would be probably in the C. As you can see, I got the Cinemachine. Just hit this install key button. Sorry for that. Okay, it's installing. It might take some time, guys. Okay, why is this just showing me? Okay, cool. Oh god, it's taking too much time. Okay, come on, man. Just do it already. So as you can see, they have written here the smart camera tool for passionate creators, guys. So this is extremely good and a handy package, guys, which is created by the Unity technology. So you need to use it, guys. So while it is loading, what we can do? Yeah, we can actually create. We can actually write a rotational script. So what you have to do is just since we are done with our this script, which is our player movement script, what you have to do is just control exit, and it's just below the void update function, just create another function. Okay, yeah, I think Cinemachine has been loaded. So just private void, uh, type in player movement as the function name. Okay, great, cool. So with that, we have created the function, and inside of the scope just paste this script, guys. So control asset, and don't forget to call this function inside of this update function, so our functions run, so our code runs perfectly fine. So it is not player controller, actually it is player movement. Okay, with that said, guys, we need to write another set of code, but let's directly create a function of it and name it as player rotation. Okay, great, guys. So now let's start to write our function. Create a float variable, name it as mouse x, because we are totally going to rotate our player using our mouse and get axis. This is again the player input, guys, which we saw earlier. I saw you the horizontal and vertical axis. So this is just similar, this is just the same input functional, the same input, yeah, format you can say. And yeah, I just forgot to enter one variable, which would be our mouse sensitivity. So with this, we are going to determine what should be the speed of the player rotation, guys. So let's enter the variable name as sensitivity. Okay, I just made it wrong, and it's sensitivity, right, guys? Okay, cool. So just now what you have to do is go back to our player rotation script, and inside of this you need to just continue editing your code, multiply it using mouse sensitivity and multiply it using time dot delta time, guys. So now create another variable and name it as mouse y, and we are going to do the same thing and get the input axis of mouse at the y, and again multiply it mouse sensitivity, multiply it by time dot delta time, guys. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is just type x rotation. Okay, so yeah, what we need to do is we need to add a rotation variable, rotation x, I guess. Yeah, so let's do it. So type in private float x rotation and assign a default value as 0, guys. So now just go down and scroll to the end, or you can say to the function, which is this, yeah, the player rotation functionality. Yeah, or sorry, we just name it as player rotation, guys. Sorry for that. And just type in here x rotation minus equals to mouse y. Okay, so now type in again the x rotation function, this variable name, and mathf dot clamp and x rotation comma minus 20f comma 20f. I would just explain you the meaning of the clamp. Just give me a minute and let's type in the full code. So okay, yeah, and transform dot rotate our vector 3 dot up multiply by mouse x. So with that guys, what we are trying to do is we are getting this x rotation and just removing, or you can say decrementing it using the mouse y value. And after we decrement it, what we are doing is we are clamping the value of x rotation between -20 to 20, because we don't want our player to look just take a 180 degrees look over from top to bottom. So this won't work appropriate guys. So we are restricting the camera's movement between -20 to 20 in terms of rotation transformation. So now we are going to apply that inside of this, right, by writing transform dot rotate vector 3 or vector 3 dot up and multiply it by mouse x guys. So with that said, what we are going to do is we also need a transforms for our camera. We need a transform for our camera, but to do that, what we are going to do is just type in private, create a variable, name it as, okay, the object should be game object, and name it as camera. So now we are going to come back down again, and what we are going to do is we are going to use this x rotation clamp value using this. So what basically we are going to do is reference our camera transform dot local rotation. We are going to get an access to the local rotation equals to, and I guess, yeah, it's quaternion. Again, we are going to take a look over the quaternion Euler x rotation, comma 0, comma 0. So with that said guys, what we are going to do is go back to our Unity editor, and okay, we are done importing the Cinemachine. Just click on that cross, close that package manager, and yeah, let's create a virtual Cinemachine camera. So create a virtual camera, and with that our camera is not going to be used anymore. We won't be able to just transform it from here to back, and because we can only transform this CM, which is Cinemachine. So as you can see, this is exactly our camera. So what we are going to do is inside of the player we are going to create an empty game object and name it as camera pivot. Okay guys, so what we are going to basically do is just go back of the player, go over here and Control Shift F and bring it to the center. Okay, so let's round off the values. It should be 25, make it 5, and yeah, make this one as 0. So okay guys, what you have to do is just get this CM, which is Cinemachine, and create a parent-child relationship between them. And yeah, now reset the transform of our Cinemachine guys. So as you can see, it is now currently focusing over the player. Now what you have to do is basically inside of this, what you have to do is, okay, there is no need to do anything, but now what you have to do is inside of the player, now just get the mouse sensitivity to, I guess, 40, and our camera would be this camera pivot. So now hit the play button and let's see if our effects come to play. So okay, we are able to play the game but unable to, yeah, actually we are not able to use it guys. So what might be the problem guys? So yeah, of course we just forgot to call off that function inside of the update function. So what you have to do is just call on this player rotation function so that it works perfectly fine. And one thing which we need to do is while playing the game, we don't want our camera, we don't want our cursor to be rotating anywhere into the screen. So what you can do is show cursor. I guess that might be the correct appropriate function, or type in cursor dot cursor, set cursor to lock. Okay, let's try that. I don't know exactly what function was that, but typing cursor lock mode dot locked. Okay, let's see if this works. All right, we are just getting errors upon errors. So what you can basically do is we can get a reference to it. There is no restriction. So what you have to do is just type in cursor Okay, Unity cursor lock. So what I'm trying to say is you can get all of your doubts over this Unity documents. You can get solved by the Unity documents, or you can just post your error over the Unity forum. So this might be helpful sometime when you are creating a very unique game and an unknown error just jumps into it. It might be possible that someone else all over the world would have solved that error, so you can get a reference to that. You can get the answer of your error. So yeah, it is basically good to just search for the answers if you don't know any. Okay, there is no any hard restriction that you should write your code on. If you, even though you are getting errors, it is fine to solve it by someone else, that is solved by someone else. So as you can see, cursor.lock state equals to cursor lock mode dot none. So what you have to basically do is we need to go back to our script and type in cursor.lock state equals to cursor lock mode dot lock. So we are going to lock our cursor and go back to the editor. Okay, it's taking some time to compile. Okay, it compiled completely, and just hit the play button, and as you can see, our cursor is not out at the anymore. So what I was trying to say was, I was trying to see get you to this. We are clamping our rotation and we are restricting it on the y-axis. As you can see, it is only rotating to a certain angle, which is 22 minus 20. So this might come handy, and as you can see, our player controller script is working fine. I think we need to increase the mouse sensitivity. So what you have to do is just go inside of this mouse sensitivity and make it to around 80, and go back here, and now as you can see, our sensitivity is working great, and yeah, it feels good, guys. So with that all of this done, we have created a basic player controller script for our player, and now we are ready to move on to our next target, which is going to be, we need to add some animation effects. With that said, guys, what you have to do is go inside of the project and let's create another folder and name it as animator controller and animations, of course. Okay, just remove animations, no need to just add it. So name it as animator controller, and inside of that folder, what you have to do is just create one animator controller, name it as player animator, or you can say just underscore AC. AC stands for animator controller. Double click on that animator controller, and what you have to do is need to add a state, so that just name that state as idle. And now let's take a look what basically is an animator controller. Animator controller is basically a system where you control all of your animations, where you want to just type in some, create a transition condition. If the player is not playing, is not running, it is not going to play the run animation, but rather it is going to play the idle animation, and so on, guys. So what you have to do is just click over this in the motion and get this idle animation, I guess. Yeah, of course, idle. But let's not forget, we also have got one more player, which is that monster, or you can say that yeah, our enemy. So we need to just add the animations which have been came with our player. So let's find, it has got idle 1, idle 2, and okay, so let's play this idle. Which idle would be better for our player? Let's just find out. Okay, this is idle 2. Okay, this is looking much cooler, guys. So you can have any of this. So yeah, this is not working that good. This is not that good. And let's take a look over this. Okay, it's a jump animation. So we were just looking for our animations. So with that, we need, I think the idle 2 was looking great. So yeah, here in the motion, just get to the idle 2, and we have set our idle animation. So next thing which we need to do is we need an run animation. So create another state and make it run, and what you have to do is just right click over this idle animation and make transition to, and click over this, left click over this run animation, or you can say this state, and then just do similar the same way. You have to just revert it back, and what you have to do is click on this idle and run. We need to select the run animation. So let's find out our run animation of the player, and Okay, this was the jump basically. So walk paddle, walk right, walk left. Okay, forward, walk on. Okay, this is the run animation. Just click on it, and okay, no need. There was no need. Yeah, there was a need because enemy also would have got a run animation. So just drag this up there, and we are good to go. Now we are going to set a condition for our transition. So let's create a parameter. Go to the parameter tab over here and add one parameter which is named as pool, and we are going to add run. So if run is going to be true, then we are going to just go over to this state, and if run is going to be false, we are going to be going back to this ideal state. So what you have to do is just add a condition. If run is true, we are going into this state. If run is false, we are going into this state, guys. So now what you have to do is go inside of the player controller script, and inside of that we need to get access to our animator controller. So type in here the animator controller. Okay, 1 minute. Not animator controller, rather it is going to be our animator, because yeah, player has got the component name animator, and that animator component in which that is the component in which we are going to add our animator controller that we just had just created. So what you have to do is just type in animator as a variable name, and in start what you have to do, start function, what you have to do is just call this animator variable, and write game object dot get component. It is going to be animator. So yeah, great. So with that said, what you have to do is go inside of this player movement and need to add one more line, animator dot set bool. So what this set bool function is going to do, it is going to get a parameter of type bool, and we need to add the boolean name which was run, and set it to true. Now if it is going to be set it to true, and we need to do the similar function else if. So now you have to check when the player is not working, guys, when the player is not running. So what you can do for that is okay, so if y or x or y equals 0. Yeah, I forgot to do it, equal 0. Then what you are going to do is animator dot set bool run to true. If either of them is okay, not true, but write it false, sorry. So yeah, not either, but we want both of them to be false. So with that said, guys, as you can see, we have just created our animator run false event. And what you have to do is, okay, just add a scope around there and save the script and go back to the editor. And now what you have to do is go inside of the scene, click on the player and click on this control footman. So we are going to add a player underscore AC as a controller. Just check in this enable checkbox and hit the play button. Now take a look, guys, it has got an ideal animation, guys. As you can see, it is just now in the ideal animation. And what you have to do is, if you press the W key, it is running, but it is taking some time to just go back on the animation and stop the animation. What you have to do is go back inside of the asset store, asset store, not asset store, but go into the animator, and inside of the transition, what you have to do is just uncheck this has exit time. Okay, so what basically is going to do is, what has exit time means when the animation is completed running itself, completely ran itself. What it is going to do is, it is until then it is not going to just work on this transition. But if we uncheck that mark, what it's going to do is, if the condition is satisfied, if this condition is satisfied, it is immediately going to go to the ideal state. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is, yeah, just loop this with the time. So as you can see, it is looping, and you have to loop this ideal animation as well. So it is looping as well. So go into the scene and hit the play button, and if you would say, you could say the changes has taken place. So as you can see, it is directly running and holding up as well. So yeah, the effect of the holding is not good. So what you can do is just go back to the transition and just remove this transition duration. So what duration does is, it is going to add a smoothness between the run and stop idle animation. So as you can see, if we don't have any smoothness, it is just directly going to stop itself. So if we just add it to 0.25, it is just going to take some time, guys. So as you can see, it is holding up in a very good way. So that's it, guys. So what we can do is just decrease this. Okay, so yeah, this is looking good, guys. So now hit the play button and you can see some changes immediately. It is running fine, guys. Our player is running great, and if we stop, it stops running. So as you can see, our animation has been complete. So to the sidewalks, as you can see, our player is not working good. So what we can do is we can add a blend tree with it. So currently there is no need for adding a blend tree because we are not creating a hard time, a very good game. We are not trying to achieve that, but you can do add a blend tree, and it is very easy, guys. It wouldn't be that hard or challenging for you to add a blend tree inside of the Unity yeah, this games. But okay, so okay, let's try to add a blend tree then so that our game looks cool. So what you have to do is what does the blend tree do is, since when we hit this A button, it is going to move on the side, and when we hit the D button, it is going to move on the right side, and if we're going to click on the S button, it is going to run backward, guys. So what you have to do for that is just click on this one button, okay, run animation, sorry, and just make it as create a new blend tree state. Double click on that run, and now what you are going to do is just click on this blend tree, and instead of the blend type to be 1D, make it to 2D freeform directional, and we need to create two parameters. So the first parameter would be our X, okay, make it capital X by the way, and add one more parameter which will be float, and make it capital Y. Okay, this is not a capital X yet. Okay, cool. So what you have to do is just click here Y and X. Now add motion, again add motion, because we are going to create a blending between four types of animations. So now just click on here. Okay, just let's go back to the editor, and this is our run. So for the first one, we are going to have our run, and this is taunt by the way. So let's see. Okay, cool, it is looking great. Okay, we are going to have a walk pedal backward. This would be our backward animation, and okay, this is it. So battle backward, and this is going to be forward, left and right. So we are going to add a left animation. Okay, just select this blend tree and just drag it again, guys, and drag this as well. So now if we take a look over the blends, it won't work because we need to have a logic here. So what you have to do is, when our pos Y is positive 1, it is going to run forward. When this is -1, it is going to go backward, and if it is 1, it is going to move on the right side. If X is 1, it is going to move on the right side, and if X is -1, it is going to move on the left side. So with that said, we have created a blend tree for our run animation. Now hit the play button, and you are going to observe the changes. So as you can see, it is now in the idle state. Now if I run, okay guys, okay, it's not working, right? Okay, yeah, we just forgot to add some changes to our script as well. So what you can do right now is go inside of the player controller, and inside of the player controller, instead of just making or setting our animation run as true, animator set boolean as true, what you have to do is we need to do another thing, which is animator.setFloat. Okay, so we have to just do this outside of our this, and animator.set float, which is going to be capital X as X, and animator dot set float, okay, sorry, it's going to be set float, and capital Y as Y. So now if we go back to our Unity editor and hit the play button, the animation is going to blend between those four animation. Okay, so yes, you can see it is running. If I hit the S key, it is going to run backward, it walk backward, and if I hit the A key, it is going to move on the sidewards, and if I hit the D, it is moving sidewards. So as you can see, it is working fine. The animation is looking cool. So we got a basic understanding of a blend tree as well. So with that said, guys, our today's lecture is complete, and in the next lecture we are going to create the anime. Sorry, not the anime. Yeah, anime controller. We are going to create a basic anime controller. So stay tuned. So we are going to create a basic anime controller script. So let's get started, guys. So just what you have to do is, since we are done creating our script for our player, what you have to do is just deactivate our player. And okay, so just take a look over our this, what you can say, yeah, our enemy. So now what you have to do is, instead of skeleton, just rename it as enemy. And we are going to add one thing, which is going to be nav mesh agent. So what basically this nav mesh agent does is, it is basically a script, or you can say it is a component, sorry, it is a component which handles the AI part of our player. So this is going to basically handle the player's movement over the entire game. It is basically the AI. It is a kind of a AI navigation tool which helps the player to identify where it has to go through, guys. So it basically lets the player, it is a player, it is a brain of a player, where the player is been shown the direction where it has to move and where not, guys. So as you can see, this is quite big, guys. So what you can do is, okay, decrease the radius to, yeah, to 0.05, and of course we need to decrease the height to, I guess, zero point 0.5, I guess. Okay, not 0.5 won't work, so make it 0.05. Okay, this is too small, by the way, so let's make it around 1.15. This is looking quite good, guys. So what you have to do is go inside of the script folder and create a script and name it as enemy controller. Okay, so just double click over that script and we are good to go. So now what we are going to do is, we are going to, okay guys, so sorry for this, but yeah, again, so what we are going to do is, we are going to get some variables ready. So what types of variable we are going to get ready is, first of all, we need to add a namespace unity engine dot ai, and go inside of the class, and now we are going to add up some parameters. So, or you can say the variable. So add a private float, which is going to be a look radius. And what the look radius variable is going to help us for is, it is going to set a radius for our player, and sorry, for the enemy, and if the player enters that radius, the enemy is going to follow our player, and it is going to try to kill our player, guys. So now we need to add a health parameter. Of course, we forgot to add the health parameter for our for our player, but yeah, this is uh, I'm just adding it right now, and I will we will add that variable later in that player controller script, so don't worry. And we need to add we need to get a reference to this, the nav mesh agent. So what you can do is, nav mesh agent nma, okay, sorry, nma it is, and yeah, put a semicolon at the end. And we also need to get a reference to the animator, so just type in animator and the variable name as animator. And the next thing which we need to do is get another variable which should be of the type boolean, and name it as follow, and yeah, false, the default value would be false. And okay, that's it for now. So what you have to do is, go inside of the start function and just get all those anime get a reference to these, what yeah, the nav mesh agent. So get component, and it would be nav mesh agent, guys, and we got a reference to our nav mesh agent. Now we are going to get a reference to the animator. So game object dot get component, it is going to be animator, and we are good to go. So now we are going to get inside of the update function, and we are going to just check for the look radius. So what basically we are going to do is We are going to check for the distance, so type in float distance equals to vector 3 dot distance, which is going to be our target dot position minus, okay, sorry, we didn't add a target parameter variable. So what you are going to do is, okay, so serialize, oh man, it would be serialized field, and the access modifier would be private, and we are going to add a game object which is going to be our target, or you can see the player. So yeah, target dot position, it is then position, what would be outer position is going to be transform, yeah, this won't work because we have got a reference to the player, the game object, rather than transform. So yeah, just type in transform and transform dot position. So what it's going to do is this function is going to calculate the distance between our target player, or you can see the player, and the enemy. So what it is going to do is, and now what we are going to do is create a function, and if distance, so distance between player and the enemy is less than or equal to the radius, which is the loop radius, so then the player is going to follow, the player is going to start following. So what you have to do is, yeah, so with that guys, what you have to do is need to create another function and name it as, I guess, yeah, core functionality would be fine. Okay, core functionality, and again we are going to get a variable distance and vector 3 dot distance, which is going to be target dot transform dot position, comma transform dot position, and okay, so I guess, yeah, we just checked that distance, so no need to write this code, sorry for that, but yeah. Okay, now what you have to do is get a reference to our agent, so which is maa dot set destination equals to target dot position. Okay, target dot transform dot position. So now what our nav mesh is going to do is that position, so it is going to start follow our player, so wherever our player goes, it is going to go over there. So now what you have to do is, if distance is less than equal to agent dot stopping, okay, we need to get a reference, by the way, to the distance variable. So what we can do is, here we can get a parameter or an argument for the function and type in the variable name as distance, and if distance is less than equal to agent, okay, it's not agent, we just wrote it nma dot stopping distance, then what we are going to do is just tap, okay, follow is going to be false, else then follow is going to be true. So what here we are going to do is follow equals to true, and if follow, then we are going to call this function, which is the core functionality. Of course there is no need to, okay, yeah, we need to add this distance, so just type in distance here. Okay, so basically what you can do is, you could we can just remove the use of this follow variable as well, and we can directly call this code functionality here, but I have just created this variable for your understanding purpose, so there is no need for doing that, or you can even do that on your own. I won't stop you for doing that, but yeah, this makes things pretty better and easy to understand, guys. So now what you are going to do is, let's go back to the editor and to the enemy. What you have to do is add this player script, add the enemy controller script, And with that said, what you have to do is, okay, we need a target player, which would be our player, and radius is 10, of course. So okay, so what you have to do right now is just go to the window, and inside that general, okay, not general, I guess it's AI navigation. And what you have to do is bake the area, guys. So just select this plane and bake it. So now that we have baked our area, okay, it's not baking it, I don't know why. Okay, so now our area has been baked, I guess. Okay, to bake this region, what you have to do basically is, yeah, go to the object and just click on this navigational static to yes, and then go inside of that bake tab and just click on that bake. And now as you can see, the blue region has been generated. So this is the region where our player enemy is going to walk through. And okay, so now what we are going to do is just go into the inspector and click on the player and make the player activated. So now if we hit the play button, and if we go inside of the radius of this enemy, then as you can see, enemy it has started to follow our player, guys. So as you can see, enemy is been following our player. So now the script is working fine, and as you can see, our player is also working fine. But the one thing which remains right now is we need to add an animation for our enemy, so that it feels like the enemy is walking toward us. So let's do that. So what you have to do for that is go inside of the animator controller folder and create another animator. So yeah, name it as enemy underscore AC, and just double click on that enemy AC. And what you have to do is right now is go inside of the here and add a parameter boolean, which should which should be run, and create a state empty, name it as, I guess, idle. And what should be our idle animation is this idle. And what we are going to do next is we are going to create another state, and yeah, we are going to add a transition to it. Rename this new state as run, and we have to add a run animation as well, guys. So what you have to do is, instead of this fantasy monster click on the skeleton Annie, and you are going to get some animations here. So what is this knockback? Let's take a look. Okay, it is a cool one, by the way. Okay, so this would be our run animation. This would be the skill. Okay, stand and walk. So we need this run animation. So just drag it over. Okay, it won't work by dragging it. We need to drag this animation only. So now we are going to go back to our script, and what we are going to do basically is we are going to call that function, which is the animator dot set tool. It is run. Boolean variable is run. Name of the variable is run, and we are going to create an else statement and make animator dot set tool run to false. Great, guys. So with that, we have created this animator animation functionality. So now go back to the editor and just click on that play button, and you would observe that if we enter the radius of that player, the animation is not. So guys, I just figured out the error which was causing into our game. So what we can do is, beside of this distance less than equal to loop radius, we have to add one more condition, which says that if distance is greater than, okay, it's anima dot stopping distance, then we are going to set the follow as true, or else it's false. So basically what was happening in our game was we were entering this state which states that false equals follow equals to false, but we were again going inside of this distance less than equal to root theta, basically because here what we were doing is once the distance is less than the loop radius, we are going to set follow as true, but we have to stop player from following after player reaches a certain destination, right guys? So what we were doing is we were just making it false, but again we were going back into the loop and setting this follow true as true again. So what it was happening, what was happening, that it was stating it is false and again making it true, which was difficult, which was the values were changed in instant, so that is such a way that it was too fast, because so that the animator controller was not able to track that the follow was set to false. So that's the reason why the transition was not happening. And once we set this condition, the editor should run fine. So hit the play button and let's check out our progress and check if the error is again okay. As you can see, it is stopping guys, but I don't think this idle animation is looking cool. So let's change the animation. Double click over here and double click on this, the ideal. What you have to do is just take 2 3, I guess. And now if we take a look over our player, and as you can see now ideal animation is looking cool. So okay guys, so with that said, we have created our anime controller. So now in the next lecture what we are going to do is we are going to work on the player attack system. So we are going to create an attack system for our player, so stay tuned. Create a basic player attack system. So to do that, what you have to do is go back to the script, which is the player controller, and what you have to do is add a float and name it as damage, and the default value would be 0. Instead of float, let's make it an integer. Okay, good. So now what we are going to do is add an if statement in the update function, and if input dot get mouse button down, which would be the 0, and 0 is our left mouse button, and equals true. Then what we are going to do is we are going to attack. So to make an attack, what we are going to do is call an animator dot set bool attack equals to true. So now what we have to do is go back to the editor, and we need to double click on this player underscore AC, and here we need to add another state, which would be our attack state, guys. So what we have to do is rename the new state as attack and add a transition. Okay, cool. So now what you have to do is add an animation of the attack, guys. So let's search for our animation of the attack. Okay, we have got 3 of them. So this would be our basic attack. Okay, this is the cool one. Okay, yeah, all of these 3 attacks are looking cool. So what we can do is basically we can, okay, yeah, first of all let's create 3 animations. Okay guys, so what we can do is just drag this here and drag this another here. So as you can see, it directly created a state if we drag the animation into the animator. So now I'm just renaming the animators, and the one last thing which I forgot to do is in the attack one we didn't just set this here over here. So now we are ready with our attack states. What I have to do is make a transition to each of them, and within the transition we need 2 conditions. So first of all we need to create a boolean parameter which would be named as attack, and the next one would be the float, which is going to be AR. So what basically is an AR? Okay, instead of making it as a float, we have to make it an integer because we want an index. So AR. So what AR basically is, it's an attack random animation. So here what we are going to do is again go to the transition to the attack one, just put this off, add two conditions, which is going to be attack true and AR equals 0. Again just put this off, add two of them, attack and AR equals, okay, it's not less, equals 1. Okay, so yeah, let's make this one as, I guess, 1, this one as 2. Here again put this off, add two of them, one is going to be attack and the other one is going to be AR, and it's equals to 2, I guess. Okay, not 2, I guess it's 3. So we need to assign this as 3, I guess. So yeah, type in 3, and for the exit transition just make it to this, uncheck that has exit time, and then what you have to do is add some condition, which is if attack is false, and just remove this other one because we only require one condition to exit this state, guys. So yeah, again attack and make it as false, and go to the another transition and add a condition as attack false. So now we are ready to use our attack, and so that for that what we need to do is go back to the script, and here we set the attack as true, and we need to do one more thing, which is set float, I guess. No, it's not float, it's integer actually, integer attack. Okay, we need to type in the whole thing, which is, I guess, okay, set integer is also not working, so what it would be, okay, set integer, it's gonna be AR, gonna be random dot range between 0, so it would be from 1 to, I guess it's gonna be 4, guys. So with that said, now we are ready to go, but one thing which we need to do is we need to set our animator dot bool to false again after setting it to true. So set it to false, and again, so the one thing which we need to do is go back to the editor, and in the transition exit we have to make sure that we have got has exit time checked, because we are immediately going to change the attack value from false to true to false. So when the attack is this animation is completed playing itself, then it is going to just go back to the ideal state. So let's try to run this. Okay, so we have got some compile time errors, so let's take a look over those errors. So yeah, one error is this, yeah, we can't have an F here, and the other one would be, okay, it's a simple compile time error when we were hitting the play button. So now if we hit the play button, okay, it's not playing it. Okay, animation is not playing itself. So what could be the possible reason, guys? Okay, let's check it out. Go back to the player controller, and if we take a close look over here, you are going to observe this, that let's try to print stops. Okay, make it working so that we can recognize that this condition is working fine. So now if we go back to this editor and hit the play button, what you are going to observe is okay, we are not getting an, okay, we are getting a message which is working. So we are actually entering this loop, guys, at this conditional statement. So the thing, it is not the main thing why it is not working is the animator.setBool is not making it false to itself. So what we can do is click on the player. Okay, let's go in the window, and at the animation just click on this animation window. Okay, I would just set my animation window over here beside the console and click on that player, and as you can see, these are read only. So what we need to basically do is add an event, or we can do another way around, which could be invoke a function after some time. Okay, this won't work perfect because we are calling it every frame, so it would take some means it would, we have to compromise with our performance, so the event would work fine. So what you have to do is, since it is read only, you can't actually edit this. So what you have to do is go back to the project, and here what you have to do is, inside of that character animation folder, what you have to do is find those attack folders. So this is the attack one. Okay guys, so yeah, just minimize this all animations so that we can have a clear view in our project window. Now what you have to do is just control delete so that we can duplicate this attack one, and similarly we need to duplicate this attack 2 animation, and similarly we need to duplicate this attack 3 animation guys. So with that said, what we are going to do is we are going to replace this animation here. So as you can see guys, we are replacing it, and now if we take a look over the animation and click over here, you can see the read only has gone. So now we can edit this. So what we are going to do is, after some few milliseconds, we are going to add an event in all of them. Attack 2, again here we are going to add an animation event, and attack 3 we are again going to add an animation event. So now we are going back to our this script, player controller script, and here we are going to create a public function, public void attack para setter would be the name, and animator dot set bool to false is going to be the work of this function. So yeah, here comes the attack parameters name. Okay, parameters name. Now go back to the editor and take a look. So we need to just make sure that this animations have the script activated. So what you have to do is select this attack para, attack 2, we need again attack para, attack 3, select this event, and okay, we just forgot to do it same in the attack 2. Select it and make it attack para setter. So now if we hit the play button and see if it is working, as you can see, it just played the animation guys, and it is working fine guys. But the one thing which remains still remains is we need to add a trigger to its SWAT, so that when the player attacks the the enemy's health is pinned down. So what you have to do for that is, we need to take a reference to this SWAT. So this is our shield, and okay, where is our SWAT? Okay, this is our SWAT. So add a box collider to it and make it trigger. Okay, so where is the box collider guys? As you can see, it is just right here, so it would be difficult to edit. So let's increase the size of the box collider to something like this. Okay, now let's increase it by dragging that, okay, yeah, to the end of this one. And one more thing which we need to do is, here is just drag this as well. Okay, so now I think the trigger is going to work fine guys. Okay, we have set a SWAT trigger. The next thing which we need to do is, we need to add a tag which is going to be enemy. So add it. Okay, so now in the enemy, instead of untag, we are going to tag it with the enemy tag. So now we are good to go. So one final thing which we need to do is, we need to go inside of this player controller script, and we'll just under the update function, what you have to do is create an on trigger function. Okay, on trigger enter if other dot, okay, it was too fast, other dot game object dot tag equals enemy, then other, we are going to access that script, game object dot get component, which is going to be our enemy controller, dot health. Okay, health, we can't access health because health is a private variable guys, so just make it internal. so that we could access that variable. And now if we take a look over here, health equals to false. Okay, sorry, not health equals to false, but we need to decrement it using our damage. So okay, so now the health of the enemy is going to decrease using our damage variable. So as you can see, we are ready to go. So just save the script. Okay, this thing which we have created over here, we have created a reference to our camera. We need to just remove it because okay, let me see if we are using this. Okay, we have got two references. Okay, no problem, we don't have to remove this. Okay, cool. Now go back into the editor and let's see if this functionality of killing the player works. So one more thing guys, we need to increase the damage of the player. Damage would be 100. Okay, so that in one swoop the enemy dies. So and one more thing which we need to do is here, go to the enemy controller, and if health is less than equal to 0, then game object, okay, we need to destroy the game object. So destroy game object. So save the script, go back to the editor, hit the play button, and let's see what happens. So now as you can see, we could attack. Okay, yeah, one more thing, why the enemy is not being able to, we are not able to see, because the health of the enemy is already 0. So go here and make the health to 100, hit the play button again. Okay, just turn around to the enemy and just swipe it. Okay, we are unable to kill it. I don't know why. There might be some reason, of course. As you can see, it is working great. Okay, I don't know what's the problem. Enemy is right there. Okay, let's see that whether this trigger is working or not. So to check that, what we have to do is just print a message in the console if this works. Okay, we were printing one more message. Okay, cool. Go back to the editor, hit the play button, and let's see if it works. So okay guys, okay, go to the console and what's this error? Okay, it's not working, I don't know why, but let's try to make it work. Okay, inside of the enemy, what you have to do is just add, okay, let's try to add a rigid body here. Rigid body, kinematic, make it kinematic, and or instead just constrain, check all of the constraints and go back in the edit mode, play mode, and here if we find the enemy, and if we swoop our sword, if we slash hit it with our sword, then no, there is no reaction guys, so it's not working. So just go back to the enemy. One thing is for sure, need to add a rigid body here, and yeah, make it kinematic, and add one more thing which is going to be our capsule collider. So capsule collider is too huge guys, so what you have to do is decrease the radius to 0.5 I guess, and decrease the height to, I guess it's gonna be 5. Okay, it's too small. Okay, this is also too small, make it 1. Okay, make it 0.5. okay, not that also. So I think I figured out the error guys. So that was nothing but in the enemy, what you have to do is just remove that rigid body component and just add only a capsule collider and make it its trigger, so that it could be able to detect the triggers in it. So now what you have to do is go back to our player and yeah, add a tag name as player. It would be handy later in the in this game. So what you have to do is go back to our player controller script, and we need some good things, because suppose if we hit the play button, and even though we are not attacking our enemy, it is going to die if it touches our sword, guys. So as you can see, it died because it touched our sword. So what we need to do for that is we need to go inside of the script and make sure that we are attacking, guys. So what you have to do is we need to hit a trigger event, guys. So again, here we are going to serialize a field, and it's going to be private attack. Okay, it is going to be a boolean attack equals to false, and let's not make it serialized field but rather a normal one. Hit save by pressing Ctrl S, and now we are going to do one thing is remove this and come here and public void is attacking. Okay, just name it not attacking. You could, I am not that good with names, but yeah, you can have your name attack equals to false, and here when we hit it, we are going to set attack as true, guys. So now we are good to go, and go back to the editor, and in the animation just click on this attack at the end. Okay, here we are going to add a trigger and add a function which is going to be not attacking, attack 2. Again, here we are going to add a event and not attacking. In the attack 3 we are going to do the same thing. Here we are going to add an event and we are going to name the function as not attacking, and now hit the play button, and then you would observe some changes, guys. If we are not attacking that enemy, it is not go okay guys, it is just it again did got disabled. So what you have to do, guys, is okay, true. By default the value of his attack is false. Then why is it okay? Yeah, we didn't set that thing here, guys. So what you have to do right now is go back on the on trigger function, and with this enemies, what we have to do is if attack equals true. Now if it is going to check if the player is attacking. If it is not attacking, it is not going to deal damage. It is not going to damage the enemy health. It is not going to deal any damage to the enemy. So now if we hit the play button and we go through that enemy, we are not going to let it die. As you can see, our sword has just gone directly through it, but it is not dying, and now if we hit it, it dies. So with that, guys, we are done creating our attack script for the player. And now in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to create an attack script system. Welcome back, guys, in this Unity game development tutorial series. My name is Proshil, the instructor of this course, and let's get started. So today in this lecture we are going to create an enemy attack system. So let's get started. So just go into your script folder, and over there you are going to find your enemy controller script. Just open it up. So yeah, let the editor be ready, and okay, cool. So now what you have to do is when the player reaches when the enemy reaches our player, or you can say if the player reaches to the stopping distance, what we have to do is we want our enemy to start attacking, guys. So what we can do is okay, so now we are going to continuously check that if player, or you can say game object dot position, okay, no need to check position, just directly check, I guess it's distance equal to, okay, it's greater than equal to stopping distance, or you can say less than equal to stopping distance, which is going to be nma dot stopping distance. So now what we have to do is we need to attack. So we are going to create a variable void, okay, yeah, variable of type animator, and here in the start what we are going to do is we are going to get a reference to our animator, guys. So what is this error, guys? So I guess we are getting a good, okay, yeah, that is because we have already created our animator. So I just forgot about that because we were using those run animation and all. So now what you have to do inside of that if statement, just go inside of that if statement and type in animator dot set bool attack as true, guys. So with that set true, what our enemy is going to do is it is going to start playing the attack animation. Yeah, you are correct, we have not set a state for into our animator for attacking. So what you have to do is go back to the editor, let the editor get some time to get compiled. And for compiling, okay, now we are done compiling. Now what you have to do is go inside of the animator controller folder, and inside of it you are going to get an enemy underscore AC. Just double click on it, create an empty state, type in as attack. Okay, okay, cool. Now what you have to do is make a transition from the idle to attack, and what you have to do is just uncheck this exit time. And with that said, guys, we have to create one more parameter, name it as attack, and here we are going to just add a transition condition, which is going to be attack. If attack true, then we are going to do this, and if attack false, then we are going to do this. So if attack false, we need an exit time because we want the animation to fully complete itself, or you can say it should be complete. Okay, cool. So now this might be the enemy attack. So let's try to play the game and see if our enemy is attacking our player, guys. So as you can see, enemy is attacking our player, guys. So it is looking much cooler. And what you have to do for here is just double click on this animation, and inside of the loop time you have to check in this loop time and hit apply. After hitting apply, just go back and play the Unity editor. And now if we go back, our enemy is attacking us. As you can see, guys, it is looking much cooler, guys. So as you can see, our enemy is attacking, but I think our enemy is a bit smaller. So what you have to do is go back into the editor, in the scene. What you have to do is increase the size of our enemy. So what I'm going to do is just increase the scale from 14 to, I guess it's 16. Okay, so now if we take our player in front of the okay, cool, anime is now looking great. So now what you have to do is go back into the editor, hit the play button, and I think we should just increase the mouse sensitivity. So I'm increasing it to 80 and hit the play button of the editor.
Here's a result from search.
Okay, now go towards the enemy, and as you can see, enemy is chasing us and it is attacking us. So now what we have to do is we need to decrease our health. So to decrease our health, what we can do is create a canvas over the screen, and yeah, here it is. So now I have created a canvas. Just go back to the 2D mode, and what you have to do is double click on the canvas. So down, let's make it from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. So now I have changed it to scale with screen size, and then what you have to do is create an image, guys. And as you can see, image has been placed over the center. So what you have to do is anchor it to the top right corner and increase the scale a bit. Okay, cool. Drag it in the negative y-axis, and yeah, make it to -60, and again name it as health bar. Change the color, I guess. Okay, let's make it green. Okay, cool. So what you can do right now is just decrease the alpha. And one more thing which remains is we need a text so that user can check it whether it is okay, check it whether it is a health bar. So again, get this text over the top right corner and align it with to the center. Increase the font size to 20, change the color from black to white, make it bold, and type in health. Good to go, guys. So just drag it over. Cool. So now it is looking much better. And now just click on this image and okay, 1 minute guys, we are just forgetting one thing. Okay guys, the thing which we were forgetting is we need to add an image here, because at first we didn't had any image. So we need to just click over here in the sprite and then add an image. So I am adding this one. Okay, it is input background, so instead let's make it background. And then what you could do is in sliced, make it filled, and instead of radius we want to make it horizontal. Yeah, and left to right. Okay, not from left to right. Okay, cool. So as you can see, our health is decreasing, so let's make it from right. It would look much cooler. And what we are going to do is we are going to decrease the player's fill amount, that is our health of the player. So instead let's make it UI sprite and filled. Okay, this looks much cooler. Preserve area expect is not working. Set native size, set native. Okay, cool. Okay, this image is not looking perfect, so forget it. Let's make it this way. We are going to decrease the size health of our player using this, or instead let's make it a simple text for our health. So just create or just duplicate this text and drag it just below the health title, and then instead of a title make it 00, and here we are going to add it. Yeah, let's make it 100, and we are good to go. Up, this is our player's health. And okay, great guys. So what you have to do right now is just make it a child of that first text. Go to the player controller script, and here we are going to create. Okay, first of all we need to use the namespace unity engine .ui so that we can access that text of the health text, serialized field, private text, and it should be health txt. So with that said, what you have to do right now is go below. Okay, we need to also create one more parameter, one more variable, which is named as health. Okay, it would be a float, or rather make it int, and health. The default value would be 100. And what you have to do here in the update function is we need to constantly update our health. So health text.text equals to health.toString. So with that said, now go back to the editor and click over the enemy. Okay, go into the 3D mode and click over the enemy, double click. We have just changed our view from perspective to isolate. I don't know what is ISO. Okay, it's perspective and ISO. So we just click here. If you click here, you can get the ISO view again, and if you again click here, you are going to get the perspective view. Okay, so what you have to do right now is go over to the player and just click on it, right click on it, and then just unpack prefab completely, guys. Do that, and then what we have to do is go down. We need to find this sword. So where is, okay, we got this sword, which is the object O1. Rename it to sword and add a box collider to it. Okay guys, as you can see, we have added a box collider, and now we need to make a trigger on. Now what you have to do is here get it to the enemy, or instead, okay, cool, enemy is fine. I think enemy is not fine. Yeah guys, so add another tag and name it as enemy sword. Of course you can use that enemy as well, but it would make stuff make pretty bad. It would be messed up, all messed up. What you have to do is just go over to the sword, and instead of enemy, just make it enemy sword. And now what you have to do is go back to the script, and here what we are going to do is on trigger enter, if other dot game object dot tag equals enemy squad. Okay, then other dot game object dot, okay, instead just make it health, decrement it with 6. That's it, guys. And what we are going to do is here again we are going to type in other dot game object dot get component enemy controller. Okay, here we go back to the enemy controller, and here we are going to add another boolean which is of let's name the variable as attacking false. We are going to create a private function which should be attack on. Here is attacking, it's going to be true, and we are going to create another function which is going to be attack off. Attacking is going to be false. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is, okay, go back to the player controller and access attacking. So if the enemy is actually attacking, then only we are going to decrement the player's health. And with that said, guys, what you have to do is go back to the this editor, and in the animation click on the enemy, and here as you can see it is read only animation. So what you can do is go here in the this skeletons and any animation folder, which is any, and control D the animation, and we need a player controller or animator controller. Click on that, and here on the any attack, what we are going to do is we are going to do this. So now if we go into the animation and click on this enemy over here, the attack is not read only anymore. So here what we are going to do is, okay, take a look over this scene, and if player is here, we are going to set our attack as true. So here we are going to set our attack on, and once the player reaches this position, here this position, our attack is going to be off. So now with that said, guys, what I have to do is hit the play button, and let's see if it is working now. Okay, guys, so something is missing. I am not able to control my player. So let's see, what is it? It's player controller. We are getting an error from the player. Of course, we didn't assign that text. Go to the player, and here just below there we are going to add this text, and hit the play button in the editor and check if our health system is working fine. So now if we go towards the player, okay, there's no sign. What could be the possible reason, guys? So we don't know. Go to the console, and here again what we can do is to the squad we need to add a rigid body, make it kinematic. If we go to the player now, okay, if we make it kinematic, it is not going to move anymore. So go over to the squad and constrain the positions instead of making kinematic, and use of gravity would be off. Now if you go to our player and check if it's working, okay, so as you can see it's coming, and we are not getting triggered anymore, guys. So let's go back to our player. Okay, this is the thing right there. Okay, so here if you go right there, and okay, the main reason behind it is that collider is not going on with the animation, so we need to change that. So okay, guys, so we figured out the problem which was causing while playing the game. So okay, let's try to break that problem and make it successfully run. So go take a look over the player, and inside of the squad, the collider which has been there in this sword is not working properly. So what you can do basically is just, I think we have constrained our movements. That may be the reason it's not working. And let's just remove it, the collider. And now if we take a look into the game, if we hit the play button in the editor, we have to go towards our enemy. And as you can see, that collider which is here, right here with the sword, is not having a perfect movement with that game object sword. So what you have to do basically is just find the game object, that sword here, and it might be in the spine neck. It's the right hand, of course, so go over there and the right hand till we come back to the fingers. So okay, cool. So these are the fingers, and as you can see here, okay, okay, cool. This is the finger, this is the finger, of course. Again, as you can see, it has got only 2 fingers. So what you can do basically is then just go to the sword and copy the component which is over here, and okay, cool, and just paste it right there as new. And now if we play the button, let's see what happens. So as you can see, the collider is running smoothly. If I get towards the player, it tries to hit me. As you can see, guys, it is hitting me and hitting me, but the collider position is not better, is not good. Okay, it's not perfect, I guess. So what you have to do basically is, okay, on the z-axis just decrease the size to almost 0. Okay, let's not make it 0 but 0.1 rather. Okay, bring it to 0, no problem. Great. Now what you have to do is basically drag this up. Okay, that was too fast. Cool, bring it right there, and okay, cool. Now we need to increase the size of the sword on the z-axis, and again we need to take it a bit in the upward direction, I guess. Okay, cool, this is not working fine. Great. Now what you have to do is basically on the x-axis you need to get it at certain distance, which can be 0.01, of course. Okay, great. So 0.01 distance is perfect, and just drag it a bit inward. Okay, on the z-axis we need to drag it, so not on the z but the y. Okay, great. This is the perfect position for our collider, and make it enemy sword and let it be a trigger. Just disable this box collider in the sword game object, and now hit the play button, and of course go over here and just select this so that we can check out our box collider if it is working fine, guys. So as you can see, guys, we are not able to see that collider which was actually there with our player. So I don't know where it is. Okay, cool, let's try to play the game. Okay, it's right there, guys. So now if we go towards our enemy is chasing us and it tries to hit us, but yeah, it's not working. So what might be the possible error, guys? Okay, box collider does not support negative scale or size. Okay, cool, let's go here into the script and check out what is that error causing. Why is that error being caused? So as you can see, enemy. Okay, so this is the error number 1. Attack other dot game object dot get component enemy controller and dot attack it. So basically this is not the object, right? So what you have to do is just Okay, so this is the main enemy, guys. So what we can basically do is just find the object of name enemy. So what I'm going to do is game object dot find object with tag, which is going to be enemy, dot get component, which is the enemy controller, dot attacking. And now if it is attacking, then we are going to decrease our health, guys. So just save the script, go back to the editor, put this off. And one thing, yeah, we can't have our scaling size in negative. So what you have to do is just 0.11. So this is perfect. Now what you have to do is check out if there are any other enemy. Okay, this is enemy sword, just untag it. Now go over to the enemy. Okay, cool. So now what you have to do is just click the play button and go back towards the enemy. Now if you see enemy is coming toward us and it just tried to hit us, but it's not working. Okay, let's see the console. No errors, guys. So what is the possible problem, guys? So here if we check it out, the attacking is very low. Means the attacking time rate, the time between the attacking, we are changing that attacking variable. It's not good, it's not more, we need to increase it. So let's check it out if we don't have any type of condition in damaging our player. So now if we go towards our player, as you can see, health is been decreasing. So what you have to basically do at the end is just select this enemy, go into the animation tab. Inside of the attack, what you have to do is this is the off one, right guys? So okay, hit the directly, you are just directly making it off, so you need to make it on. And at certain point here, I guess, okay, right there, add another and make it off. So now with that, guys, we are done. What you have to do is go back to the script and just undo whatever we did it. Like this is what we did it, we need to remove that. And now hit the play button. Now if you would now you would observe that the player is only damaging our character once. So as you can see, only 6 is reduced, and again it is reducing our health. And as you can see, it is working fine. So in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to take a look over our animation, means character death. We are going to work on those death animations, so for the player and enemy as well. So now what we are going to do is when the player reaches its health to 0, when the health of the player reaches to 0, what we are going to do is we are going to play the death animation. So go to the player controller script and let's get started, guys. So what you have to basically do is just in the update function, you have to just type in if health. Okay, do one thing, let's put this all in the big scope. If health greater than 0, then only we are going to perform these tasks, or else we are not going to do it. And else we are just going to play the death animation. So animator.set code death as true. So yeah, you guessed it right. So we have not actually added a state for the death animation, so we need to do that. So first of all, let's go to the enemy controller script as well and do the same thing here also as well. So what you have to do basically is just, okay, instead of destroying it, what you have to do is okay, let's break this task, just remove this set of code, and here let's bring all of it into one scope and make it if health greater than 0. Then only we are going to run this scope, and else we are again going to play the animation of the death. Okay, so it would be true. So now what you have to do is go back to the editor and let it get some time to just load it up, and click or double click over the player EC, and now you have to just create an empty state. And here what you have to do is type in death, and we need a transition from each and every animation. Okay guys, so just make it, but we don't want to make it reverse, because after that animation we don't want our player to just again have any kind of animation. So what you have to do is next is add a parameter name as depth, and then here in the transition just put turn this off and add a sequence, add a condition, sorry, which is red true, and again just has exist time should be off, and then run death to true, and here as well we need our death to true, and just turn this off, and again go turn this off, and we need to just go over here and that should be true. Again same thing we need to do over here as well, so death would be true. So now basically what you have to do is set out our player death, just find the animation for our player's death, and we are ready to go. Okay, sorry, attack, defend, die, here it is. So okay, cool, so it's dying, perfect. Do one thing, just select this death and drag this animation right here, and we are good to go. So now if we just, okay, one more thing which we need to do is we need our player enemy as well to die, guys. So what you have to do is go back to the animator controller folder, click on this, and now just create another state and name it as death. Okay, sorry, I just made that default. So add one more boolean which would be death, and here we need to remove this transition and add a death here in the condition to true, again has exit time off, death here again true, and here as well exit time off and death as true, and now we are good to go, guys. So what basically we have to do is just remove this and we are good to go, guys. So just save the okay, it's already saved. Now what you have to do is basically we need to add an animation to our death, guys. So what you have to do is go to the any folder and search for the death. Okay, this is it, guys. So this is our death animation. Play it. Great, it's working good. Just drag that animation and hit the play button of the editor. Now if we go towards our player enemy and if we hit it, okay, it's not getting any hit. I don't know why it is not getting, okay, it got hit, so that was a bullseye and it dies, guys, and it is not even following us because the condition we have just put it into our enemy controller script. So now what you have to do is now let's let them kill our player. So now we need to wait for a while. Okay, cool, okay, great, I swoop it once, it died. Okay, let's make it fast and go to the player controller. Instead of reducing 6, we can reduce directly 100 and make it work. Go back to the editor, hit the play button, and now if we go towards our enemy, you would observe that we will try in one swoop. As you can see, our player died and we are unable to control it again. So controls are not working because of the condition set in the player controller. So with that, guys, the game gets over and we come back here again and make the and reverse those changes we made earlier, which is just make it 6 instead of 100, and go back to the editor, and the game is working smoothly and fine. So now in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to work on the algorithm to spawn an antidote kit after our player is having the having its health less than 100. So what you have to do basically is when the player dies, means when the player is sleeping, right, that lays down, what you have to do is instead of adding that lay down animation, what we can do basically is we can just drag on this damage. Okay, not this damage, but go back to the player animations and okay, where is that damage? Hit. Okay, it's defend. Okay, get hit, this is it. So we are going to play this this animation, and then with this animation what we are going to do is we would be getting some time to just find out that antidote, and if we just catch up that antidote in time, we are not going to die, or else we are going to die, guys. So stay tuned to discuss how to add that functionality, which is the spawning antidote after our player is been to 0. If the player health is down to 0, what you have to do is basically spawn, we are going to spawn a box where the player is going to go over reach that box, and the player is going to gain its health to full, I guess. And then how to do this is basically the big question. So we can do it. It is very easy, guys. So what we have to basically do is when our player is being when our player's health is down to 0, what you have to basically do is there is no need to for playing that animation, but instead we can do is we are going to play the hit animation, guys. So what you have to do is just go over to the death, and instead of here this, what you do is just click this get hit animation. And now if we go over to our game, and we are going to get a hit animation, of course we won't die. So what basically you have to do is when our player dies, we need to spawn that antidote. So here what we are going to do is serialize a field, and we are going to get a list of the spawn points that where we are going to spawn that, of course, that antidote. So it is a transform, and here I am getting it as spawn points, and it should be a new list transform, and yeah, good to go. So now basically we are done creating this. So now what you have to do is basically we need a prefab which we are going to just spawn it right away. So yep, you guessed it right, we need a type of game object, and here we are going to get it a prefab. Okay, not prefab, antidote prefab. And okay, it's not antidote, it's antidote. Okay, cool. So now basically what we are going to do is here we are going to get animation name as hit, I guess. Okay, and then what we are going to do is we are going to spawn prefab. So instantiate spawn points, not spawn point, but we want to instantiate the game object which is antidote prefab. Then the position would be spawn point dot random dot range. It would lie between the range 0 to spawn points dot count, of course. And then we need a rotation to be quaternion dot identity. It should be 0 0 0. So basically we are done making this code, but transform dot position it should be, because we are only adding the transform inside of the list. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is we are ready. We are going to spawn that player. And now one more thing, we need a timer. So we need to add a text where the timer is going to be displayed. So here I get one more text, and it should be name it as that timer, and the default timer would be 20. Okay, not 20, let's make it 10. Good to go. Okay, timer. Oh, okay, I guess so. It is a text, right, guys? So just make it there won't be any default value. Create another serialized field, and it should be the timer. Time to death. Okay, this is txt, and the default value would be 20, I guess. Okay, make it 10. Okay, this is not timer, but instead it is going to be a float. So now what we are going to do is we are going to decrease it. So at first this dead timer would be off. So what you have to basically do is set dead timer dot set active. Okay, it's not, we need to access the game object. So type in game object dot set active. That's true. And then we are going to decrease our timer, dead timer. Okay, it's time to death. Okay, it's again time to death minus delta dot the time. And else if we are going to make it else if, and if our time to death variable is greater than 0, then we are going to get inside of it. And one more thing which was missing is, yeah, health is less than equal to 0. There is no need to get to the second condition, but still. And here we are going to add the final statement. So with this, guys, we are decreasing our player's timer, and once the timer is else if time to death equals 0, the player immediately dies. So we are going to play the animation of death. So animator dot set bool of death to true. So with that said guys, we are good to go guys. So now what you have to do is we are decreasing the timer. Now one last thing which we need to do is death timer text dot text equals to time to death, and we are going to typecast it to integer, typecast it to integer, and then make it a string. Now we are good to go. Okay, so yeah, one more scope, we need a one more scope, and then we are good to go. So now what you have to basically do is go back to the editor, double click over the player, and instead of death, let's make it what it was, yeah, hit. So this is it, and as you can see everything is changed. And now what you have to do is create another state, and we need a transform right there which should be played without condition. So of course it is going to be playing without condition, without any condition, and to go. So basically what we are going to do is here we are going to set this hit to false in this scope. Okay, we are going to set this hit to false, I guess, so just remove it. Okay, we can't have this right here guys. So what basically you need to do is, let's just first of all complete the task over here, which is going to be death. Okay, death is good, and remit it to hit, and okay, make a transition from every animation, or you can see the state as well. And here we are going to have a single condition, which is going to be just uncheck this and death, right guys? So we need to create another bool which is death, and now we are going to just go over here and select death, get this another, and do the same thing here as well. Uncheck this as exit time, and uncheck this as exit time. Go to that, uncheck this, apply death, apply, uncheck this, and apply death. Good to go guys. So basically we are good to go. Now go back to the scene, and the changes are going to be applied soon, not soon of course, yeah, until the editor is compiling itself, compiling the code, it is going to work. So now we have the compilation of the code has been completed. So now what you have to do is basically one last thing which is remaining is we need to set this to false back again guys. So go over to the hit animation, and instead of making it read only, just control D it so that it is not anymore hit read only. Just select get hit here right there, go back into the player controller function and array script, and then what you have to do is type in public void hit off. This is going to be the hit off, and we are going to do is animator dot set bool hit to false, and go back again here in this editor and let it take some time to compile, and select this player and go back to the animation tab, and here get select the get hit, and at this second 0.1 millisecond we are going to just make this hit of function run. So now go back here in the game, and okay, cool. So now just hit the play button, and if we go towards the player is going to damage us guys, it is damaging us. One thing which we are forgetting is we didn't do anything here to the canvas, and we didn't add some values. So what you have to do is just add a timer text right there. So create another text, and in the UI text it would be, and yeah, of course make it align to center, and increase the size to 20, and make it bold, and it should be white. So this would be the time which would be there for our player to just regain its health, and make it name as that timer txt. Now go over to the player and drag that text right inside of here, and here for the swan point we need to get some swan points, and for the antidote prefab we need to create one. So what I have to do basically is Go to the 3D mode again and just double click on the player to get focus, get our focus over the player. And what you have to do right now is just create an empty, or not empty but a sphere, and then what you have to do is, yeah, bring it to the center right there, guys. Very good. So let's have the transform of this object on the y-axis as 1, and as you can see, player would be able to get it. So now what you have to do is go into the project, and inside of the material folder you need to create another material, yeah, another material, and name it as, I guess, pickup or antidote. Best thing, it's not antidote, I just typed it again, antidote. And let's make it green, and instead of making it opaque, let's make it transparent, and it should be having some animation, guys, so it looks pretty good. So with that said, let's make this color a bit dark. Okay, here we go. Color is not working, and we are good to go. Great. So transparency should be good enough. That's it, guys. Make it point. Okay, guys, then take this material and drag it over to our cool, guys, drag it over to our antidote. And okay, this is super duper transparent, so just let's not make it that much, but rather increase it to 1, of course. Okay, 1 is looking good. Inside of the game, as you can see, this antidote is looking great, guys. So this is going to be our antidote prefab, and it is going to just get spawned anywhere, anytime. So one last thing which we need to do is we need to add a particle effect to it so that it looks much cooler. So let's add it, and yes, of course, let's make it a green color. Okay, so this would be the green one, and if we just restart our particle system, it is not working, by the way. Okay, cool, the start color would be that green, and here we go. Okay, cool. One thing which we need to do is we need to decrease the lifespan and make it to 1. As you can see, it is dying after 1 second, and the duration is good. It should be looping, animation should be great, and size over lifetime would decrease. So have a readable graph. And one more thing, color by speed, not color by speed, but rather color by color over lifetime, and we are just going to decrease it to increase the alpha with time. And here we go, it's looking much good, guys. So as you can see, our game is looking fantastic. One thing which we are forgetting is this is the particle lift, which is a bit spritelet. Okay, where did it go? I don't know, guys. So okay, yeah, we got it. Here it is then. So it is looking good. Okay, instead of this, we can actually put on the mesh. So let's do one thing. First of all, just take this sphere and we name it as antidote. Again, I just typed it wrong. Okay, go back to the project, and in the prefab folder, we may have created a prefab folder, I guess. No, we have not. So just create another prefab folder, and inside of the prefabs we need to add this, where did it go, antidote, and here we have that. Now in the particle system, what we need to do is we need to add this mesh. So let's make it mesh, and here we go. So this would be the sphere, this would be sphere, and our material could be antidote. Okay, guys, so as you can see, it is looking much cooler. So now we need to decrease the size of it. So start speed, not start speed, but rather it would be the size, and it should be random between 2 constants. So let's make it 0.1 to, I guess, 0.5. So now as you can see, it is looking much cooler. So with that said, guys, our emission, we should increase our emission to, I guess, 20. Okay, great. Now it is looking much better. So this would be the particle system which would be inside of it. So just bring its transform to 0 0, and let's overwrite the prefab, apply all, and we are good to go. So now that we have set our antidote, we need to just delete it from here and go over to the player again, and we need here our antidote, which is this prefab right there. And one more thing guys, which we need to do is we need some swan points guys. So what you can basically do is we can just add those swan points right inside our game. So just create one and bring its transform to 0 and y to 1. So just get it right there, get one more right there, get another right there, this one here, and this one here. So now with that said, we have got some swan points. So now let's create an empty game object and name it as swan points. Just bring the transform to 0 and get all this game object inside of it. Now the last thing which we need to do is here inside of the player, just lock this up and select all this game objects and just drag it over to this swan points. So now we are good to go. So now go back to the script and let's make a small change. We need to add one more thing, which is going to be our enemy damage. So let's make it integer. Enemy damage would be 10 at the beginning. So here in the on trigger enter function, we need to just make it from 6 to enemy damage and we are good to go. So go over there for the player, and instead of making it 10, let's make it 100 for now, and just hit the play button. Now let's get back towards the enemy. So as you can see, we got the hit function, hit effect running, and as you can see, we just spawned out. We are spawning just unlimited of them. So antidote, countless antidotes are being spawned. So we need to get some core and proper code. So one more thing guys, the thing which we were getting was that we were continuously playing this animation, which is the hit. So just double click on that hit. Okay, 1 minute guys. So just click on this hit, just remove this inspector lock and make from loop type to this normal one. Now go back to the scene and go back to the player controller script. And one more thing guys, what we need to do is we need this to work only once. So what we have to do is create another private boolean and name it as entered as false. And okay, I got my spelling wrong, and entered. So and entered equals to false. Here we are going to make our entered to true. So with that said guys, what you have to do is go back to our this, and in the game view, as you can see, go back to the canvas and double click over the dead time. We need to increase the size, of course. Okay, size is good enough. Okay, cool. Hit the play button and let's see if the changes are working fine. Go back to the player, hit. We have got 10 seconds guys. We are but unable to control this player, so let's check it out. What is the problem? So now if we take a look over our player, you might get, just click on this player. So let's see which animation is working currently. So as you can see, I am unable to move guys. So what you can basically do is go back to the editor and instead of increasing the height, or let's make it entered here so that we would be able to move. And if we go back here and just hit the play button, and I'm going back towards the player, and if I get a hit, as you can see, I am still able to move, but our timer is not decreasing. So what you have to basically do is time to death equals to 0, start decreasing this timer. So it is going to be if entered timer, time to death dot delta time. This is going to start decreasing itself right there, and go back to the editor and hit the play button. And now if the timer is to 0, we are going to get a player type. So let's see. Okay, we got a hit. Okay, we didn't got a hit. We just got a hit. Time is not decreasing itself. A single antidote has been spawned. This is our antidote, guys. As you can see, it is looking much cooler. Our time is not decreasing itself. I guess it is decreasing, but we are unable to see the changes. So the thing which we need to do right now is just add this up so that we could just update our time right there. Go back to the editor, hit the play button, and let's see if the changes have taken place or not. So now if we go back to the enemy, if we get a shot, the timer is been decreasing, and once the timer reaches 0, what we are going to do is death is going to be true, guys. So here we have got a death sequence here right there, and one more thing, guys, here death is going to be true. And okay, cool. So instead of making it else if, let's make it if, and if that is true, enter is going to be true. So make one more. Animator dot get pull death. It should be not. Then we are good to go. Go back to the script, hit the play button, and get back to the player. If we get a shot, as you can see, the timer is going down. We have got no antidote right now. Yeah, one antidote has been spawned to that position, and the reach we reach 0, but our player is not dying. I don't know why. Okay, player didn't die. Let's check it out. Why is he not dying, guys? So I guess the condition is a bit wrong. It should be not equal to less than equal to 0, but rather less than equal to 0. Time to death, if less than equal to 0, then the player dies. So here we go again, and one more time we go and take a hit. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We die, guys. So as you can see, the player died and the game is working smoothly. So okay, we are not having any kind of animation here right there. So what you have to do is go over here and add a death animation. This is the skeleton death. We need our own death. This is here, and we good to go. So now what was happening is the player controller, or you can say the enemy, was not exiting his attack state. So it was just continuously attacking us. So guys, it is going to be false, then only it is going to hit it. Okay, it's good to go. Okay, now if we hit the play button and go back to our enemy, it is going to attack. He is running again, and if we get a hit, now that antidote has been spawned over there, enemy is chasing us, and our health comes to 0 and we die. Now we are unable to move, and we have successfully completed our game. So once it reaches 0, we need our this text to be set to off. So let's copy this here, come back here, and dot game object dot selective to false, and entered would be false as well. So we are good to go. So I know we have created a pretty good mess over here, but you can just modify this code to work to make it look much better. So yeah, and of course there are always n number of possible ways you can solve any kind of problem or create game inside of the Unity. The code which I have written, you might think of it you might think of something else, you might have another logic coming up into your mind, so you can basically use that. There are no restriction, guys, and there is never a single answer to any coding problem, guys. So in the in coding world, in this coding world, there is no, and there is not even a single problem statement which don't have multiple answers, guys. So just find any of the answer and check out which fits you. So that's it, guys. So now in the next lecture, okay, not in the next lecture, but yeah, what we can do is basically just create it right now. What we have to do is we need to increase our health. Once we gain this up, once we get to this player, where is our yeah, the antidote, we need to add a script in the antidote. So what we can do is go over to the script and create another script and name it as antidote. Or rather, what we can do is instead of creating a script, it's just increasing our compiling time. Just delete the script, go back to the okay, because where is the, okay, where is our prefab? Yeah, here. Okay, not here. Here's the prefab. Click on this, add another tag. It should be named as antidote. Okay, I just type it again, dot, and here we are going to have a sphere collision on trigger. And what we are going to do is go back into the script, okay, in the scripts folder. And where is the scripts folder, guys? Oh my god, I think I have just deleted the whole script folder. I don't know where it is. So let's check on the player and see if, okay, I just deleted all of the script folder. So oh, this is just a mess, guys. So just don't copy this. There is no need for you to do this thing. Okay, what I did, guys, I don't know. I'm going back to the recycle bin. I need to find that scripts folder. Here it is. I will restore it, guys, so it will be back to square. Okay, it's taking some time, guys. Okay, cool. So I just got back my script right there. And one more thing, yeah, what we were doing was need to get to the script folder and just, okay, just delete this antidote. Okay, double click on this player, and here we are going to do is, what we are going to do is on trigger enter if, okay, it's an else if, guys, sorry, else if other dot game object dot tag equals antidote. Okay, I just typed it again, antidote. I don't know what is happening. Okay, cool. So what we are going to do is we are going to regain our health to 100 and our player will be good to go. And the changes we need to make right now is here. Okay, no need to change this, of course. Okay, enter is, we are already making that enter to false, and we are going to reset our timer time to death. Go back here and reset that time to death to 10 seconds as well again. And in the next what you have to do for the next statement, time to death would be for true. And one more thing which we are forgetting is, of course, dot game object dot set active. Cool. Now that with that said, we are good to go. Hit the play button, let it take some time to compile. Hit the play button. As you can see, player is chasing us. We get a hit, our health is back to 0, and we go back to this thing and our health is not increasing. Okay, what is the problem? I guess I have not assigned the antidote tag to that prefab. Go back to here and just assign this antidote prefab tag. And what we are going to do again here is we are going to just delete that game object. So go into this player script and we are going to find that on trigger event, and here inside of this, what we are basically going to do is, okay, what just happened? Okay, just delete this statement right there. We need to make it right here below just the 100 health is equal to 100. And one thing which we need to do is destroy the dot game object. And with that said, guys, go back to the editor, hit the play button, and let's go towards the enemy, and let's check if it is. And okay, we are good to go. Now go back to the here, and as you can see, our health has been gained. Now if we get a hit again, we need to find out another antidote. Okay, we am not okay, it just died. We don't know why. Go back here, there's one more error, guys. So why it was not spawning that. What is the problem? Is less than equal to 0. Entered is false. Okay, entered should be false. Entered should be false. So what you can do here is entered is equal to false. And okay, time to death is greater than 0, and then health is less than equal to 0. Enter is equals to false, and we have to go. Now this might work. Okay, we are going back to our enemy, and we are going to get a hit. Now we are going to die in 10 seconds. So here we go back to the antidote and take this antidote. Now we get a hit again from our player. So now we just need to find that antidote again. Go towards the antidote at the highest speed, and here we go. Our player has got our health back to square, guys. So the script is working fine. Now hit the just stop the game from playing itself, and we are good to go. So now the last thing which we need to create is we need to make a game over menu and the game main menu. So with that said, guys, in the next lecture we are going to create a main menu for our game and the game over menu for our game. So one more thing, guys, which I forgot to tell you is you can just add anything here in the game. You can add this asset. We have got a sample scene right there. I will just save my current asset, current scene. And if we take a look over the scene, okay, first of all I need to just upgrade my material. So upgrade it to, yeah, of course. And if we take a focus over, or you can say a zoom to the correct, as you can see it is just loading right now, and we are good to go. So as you can see, this would be our level, the final level of our game, and it is looking much better, guys. So with that said, guys, what you have to do is there is no camera to render. I don't know why. Okay, here is the camera, of course. Why is it showing no camera to render? Okay, this is a mystery. So this would be the level. What I am basically going to do is just take all of this, okay, just drag it inside of the game object, and take all of this and make a child of it. Okay, it's just loading itself up. Good to go. We name this game object as, and okay, instead of making it environment, make it level. And inside of the prefab folder, just drag that prefab as the level, and this is going to be our level of our game. So it's just loading it. So with that said, guys, in the next lecture we are going to just take a look over the main menu and the game over menu. So stay tuned.